Hello, welcome to day 10. I do these live videos completely for myself to continuously challenge my social anxiety. So, I don't really have anything I want to talk about particularly today, so I'm just going to freestyle and see what happens. So, well, one of the formats is talk about what I'm going to do for the next 24 hours and what I did for the last 24 hours. I went to a dojo and I got some pretty good exercise in. So that's a win. Um, the night before, I was emotional support for my partner. And then this morning, I was also support. And I do super advanced love. How do you love somebody who is emotionally attacking you, at least perceived attacking you? Somebody who uses anger, blames. The thing is, it's easy to make that person the villain, the bad person. And yet, they are a manifestation of the infinite being that we are. At the same time, not accepting the blame that is thrusted. I don't even know the right word. And right now, I am in a freeze response, not really knowing how to talk about these things. And my being just wants to recoil. That's okay. I'm going to keep leaning into it. Anyways, how to love somebody who uses emotional violence. And is it even valid to say they're using emotional violence, or emotional violence is using them? And is it even violence? It takes a victim in order for there to be violence. Wow, this is really tricky for my subconscious. And I'm just going to stay in the trickiness, the utterly inability for me to enunciate words. I'm deep within shadow right now, and I'm not going to stop. Right now, almost everything my being would rather that I just give up and talk about something else. Let's keep going. I follow Ram Dass, and one of the things that he talks about is imagine, there's a story of the person in a boat just laying down, enjoying, a nice evening on the lake. And then suddenly, this person feels a bump of another boat hitting their boat. And then this person gets really angry and sits right up and be like, who, is so careless, would bump into my boat? And this person looks over and, oh, there's nobody in the other boat. It was just floating there, So he talks about imagine that there's nobody on the other boat. There's nobody at fault. And the other thing too is, if it's only emotional violence or verbal violence, it's just vibrations. Why are we feeling hurt? Yes, we have mirror neurons, and we would mirror the other person's discomfort and anger. And there's blame. You did this. I understand that I take 100% responsibility for myself and my own reactions, no matter what happens in the world. I never blame anyone else. But it doesn't mean that other people can't blame me. I can't control that. I can simply control what I don't do. But the trick is then not to apply that standard to someone else and saying they shouldn't be blaming me because I don't blame them. It would be nice if that's how it worked. However, also 100% responsibility also means that I am also responsible for this reaction. Say something I did, they made it mean something big and that it's your fault or my fault or whatever. There was the word accountable, but not responsible. That's a tricky one. Well, maybe it's a skills issue. That something I did triggered this interpretation in this person. Or maybe this person's just angry and looking for an excuse, and anything would do. Saying, you did this. You're the reason my life is so terrible. It's impossible to take responsibility for things that simply isn't true, but this person thinks it's true. Maybe this is the little bit that you're actually responsible for. And then they're saying all this stuff. Urgh. In any situation, not the right words, let's stop arguing who's right or wrong. Let's say this person is wrong in every regard. It's simply wrong, right? You understand the rules of 100% responsibility. You understand projection, right? This person doesn't. This person's feeling is very much telling them that it's this person's fault for why their life is like this. But if you were to take it to a therapist, take it to a judge, take it to friends, anybody who sees the whole situation would say, like, yeah, this person's crazy. This person's wrong. Is my audio... Testing. Anyways, I thought my audio was coming from here, but maybe not. So now I'm going to put this closer. Okay. I'm a little distracted by the audio tech issue, but that's okay. Do I even have any audio? Yeah. Yep. Okay. There is some audio. Cool. All right, let's keep going. So this is super advanced love, right? This person is another version of me. It's just me. It's me yelling at myself. What do I do when I yell at myself? Ooh, that's a good one. What do I do when I yell at myself? One is not to make that wrong. I also don't take in the judgment. Don't buy the story, but also not to make that part of me wrong. I can empathize empathize. I think the goal is to be able to see past the anger to the hurt, to the fear, to the love, and only talk about the love. I'm thinking about strategies here. To talk to the hurt, to talk to the fear, to talk to the anger, repeat what the anger wants, without the blame. You can strip out the blame. Like, you never do the dishes. Okay, you want dishes done. You don't like it when you when you see dishes out there and you feel like it's not fair, like repeat the emotion. So this is one of the tools. Tactical empathy. Of never splitting the difference. Chris Ross. Tactical empathy. Repeating, getting to a yes. That's right. And for us to do that, we need to swallow the pride, the justified boundary. Because this person really shouldn't be yelling at us. And it is all wrong. Yep, we agree on that. But this person is emotionally disturbed right now. This person doesn't care that you're not actually at fault, or they simply want to be heard. And you can do that without admitting fault. They want to be heard. And you can simply say that, oh, you think it is my fault. Right? That could, I mean, I'm not exactly those words because that seems defensive, but that isn't admitting that it was your fault. It's simply saying, this is what you're saying, right? So that's what I remember from the book. I'm still thinking of other things. Tactical empathy, right? Getting to, yes, that's right, right? Like, is this what I'm hearing you say? What is it that you want? Oh, you want, me to take a share of my dishes, and having a clean sink is important to you. Something like that, going back to acknowledging the values, repeating what they've said, rewording it in other words, finding the emotion, naming the emotion. Name the emotion. Tactical empathy. Tactical empathy. Interesting. But first, in order to be able to do any of these things, we need to understand that it's not truly our fault. And we are also 100% responsible, which is the trick to it. And we don't blame somebody even though it feels like they are completely to blame. We're blaming their blaming. And this is why anger simply doesn't get us where we want. Because anger is like beating somebody with a stick and thinking that's going to make things better. It just doesn't. Part of the dojo exercise, somebody was trying to get me to see, like, oh, what if I attacked you and could you see that as love? It's like, not really. No. I won't attack back, but I'm not going to see that as love. I could play with it. I could, aikido it and redirect the energy and play and dance with it. But it's never going to get me closer to them. I simply do not approach people who uses that technique, or who do not have control over their anger. And the question is, am I limiting my life with only the people who do have control? And what about the rest of the people? And can I get into such a Buddha state that I do hear their stick, like, because it doesn't actually hit me, right? They're just words. Physical threats being the exception. As long as they don't use physical threats, I am an immortal. And let's say the goal is to become such a Buddha state that the compassion just, I understand that they're just hurting and they're not even hitting anybody. They're just swinging sticks around and yelling and just crying. That all anger is a child crying. And then if I get triggered by that, that's my inner child also crying. So it's just two babies in a crib. And then this other baby's like, "Wah, stop crying, you baby." Just hear emotional anger as just babies crying. Only we're more advanced and we use more pointed language. But in the end, we're just babies screaming at each other, pulling each other's hair. Maybe not physically, but and this baby won't get close to this baby if this baby yells. And this baby may choose not to yell back, but as long as this baby yells, this baby will be like, not safe. Next. So I am a baby. So to extend compassion to somebody yelling at me, to extend compassion for somebody who is trying to protect the community but doesn't know how, I extend compassion. Okay, for my baby who is angry and will not interact with other babies who yell at me, and I have compassion for the other baby who uses anger, who yells. and finding my inner bodhisattva compassion. To be yelled at and see that as pain. See that as somebody crying out to be heard. It's just babies not being held when they cry. Being left alone, abandoned. Or maybe even yelled at because they were crying. Simply for asking for what they need. It makes me think of something. A child never wants to misbehave. They're just asking for their needs in increasingly desperate ways. They may not even know what they want. Okay, well, the two babies strategy seems to work out fine. Two babies and a Buddha. Two babies and a bodhisattva. And let's just say the universe is this bodhisattva that's always there. And if I get angry and yell, I'm just a baby. If they get angry and yell, they're a baby. It's just babies yelling at babies all day long. Now that's simple. Okay. Right. 27 minutes. Okay. So, in summary, super advanced love is how to love somebody who yells at you, who yells at me. I've grown up with a lot of that. And there's so much anger. Correct anger, right? And that anger is my inner baby screaming. When I got yelled at, it was their baby screaming because they never got held and taught how to hold themselves. So they had to scream. And I was never taught how to hold myself, especially when there's another baby screaming somewhere. So I'm going to reach deep to look for my inner deep bodhisattva compassion, to see that we're just both babies yelling to be heard, that we don't want to feel this way. We don't want to be yelling. We don't want to be hurting the ones we love. We just don't know any better. We just get caught. That we're just both caught in a trap. Okay. Two babies. We're just babies. Thanks, throat. I appreciate the extra challenge. Okay. Okay. Two babies. And then our higher self, can be the angel that we both needed. And we speak to our higher self. Cool. Alright, so that's super advanced love. To listen past people yelling at us, our loved ones yelling at us, trying to command us, trying to tell us what to do, calling us names and how bad we are, pointing out our flaws. There's only so many tactics. And let's forgive them all. There is only so many tactics. So many tactics. Tactics. Control, telling us what to do. Pointing out flaws. Blame. Threats, like if you don't do this, I will leave. If then. The idea is that there's only so many. There could be more, but we're just going to collect the different tactics. Venom, or poison. And we can just universally forgive them all as babies crying. Babies crying. Okay. Whew. So, the last 24 hours, this is kind of what I've been working on. Super advanced love. I did dojo. I did emotional support. Have I done anything else? I went for a walk. I'm doing my live videos right now. Okay. Next 24 hours, what should I do? What can I do? Let's brainstorm with the 3x3. Health, wealth, relationships, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. First tier health is physical health. Rest, fuel, clean, dress, exercise, stretch, and balance. I think I'm going to restart my exercise routine. My body feels like it's recovering. Not completely yet, but it's recovering. So I'm going to slowly start it up again. I'll shower, I'll brush my teeth, protein and vitamins. These are all standard. I've kind of locked this routine down. And this is crucial. This is how I can move on to the next phase. The next phase, this little person here, physical space, physical things. Right. This includes management, Mowing the lawn. I think it needs to be mowed again. It's springtime, so I gotta do it every week. Just a quick mow. Physical space. Clean my room. And really build out the physical organization system. Every item should have a category. And that's even my being is excited to think about that. My being gets excited about understanding the world. That's what it's excited about. It's building a system that can just whoosh. It's like, let me at it, let me at it. It's like, yes, I'm getting motivation for it. Okay. Oh, I should check meds. Refill meds. There is a trip coming up, so I want to prep my car. For a camping trip, which includes rebuilding the blackout window covers. Anyways, I get what that is. I want to make more EMUs, print more EMUs. Those are the cubes. What would I pack? Well, I'll think about that later for the camping trip. Respond to friends. Thank you, Throat, for making things more challenging, because it would be way too easy if I could just have a clear throat all the time to speak. Okay. Ooh, thanking all my limitations. And I can't even mute. It doesn't mute. Great. Is it from here? Is it from here? I don't know. Let's try something. Testing, testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Am I back? I think my audio is from here, which is annoying. Here, as in my blue Yeti. Okay, anyways. Come back here. Focus. Yeah, I think it's the blue Yeti. Okay. Right. Mental, emotional, physical. I'm going to train it, and I'm going to treat it well. And then embodied spirituality. Okay. Here's a spout. What if one day real soon, I suddenly realize, oh my gosh, every single word I've ever spoken is already poetry. And every movement I do is already dance. Every noise I make is already song. And my life is just a movie, a play, a game, a puzzle. And I just play it full out, moment by moment, in the moment, till the end of my days. Right? What is a life except a series of moments stacked together? And if we're always just present in the now, playing life full out, that is the embodied spirituality, a fully embodied spirituality, while maintaining my health, my wealth, my relationships in 3 ascending tiers. That is enlightened mastery, self-coaching. Okay. Wealth 2 is my job, career, businesses that fund everything else, and the systems in place. Wealth on the highest tier is going from point A to point B to becoming the person that I know I can be. All the while I'm in the moment, playing the game full out, and I am a financial bodhisattva, and it's win, win, win. Win for me, win for the world, win for my clients. I want to be the best that I can be, but in order to do that, I need to raise the worst that I can be, my floor, my basement. And I need to develop a superpower, relative superpower, and exchange that in the open market for financial resources. That makes everything self-sustaining. All right, relationships on the highest tier. Well, second tier would be community. And relationship on the highest tier is we're all one. It's all me. We're all just babies crying. That is the big aha. We're all just babies crying. So forgive them all. However, I need to make sure that flailing babies don't hurt me or others. So self-defense, community self-defense. And I maintain my boundaries, which is my yeses and my nos, invitations. This is what I need to work on now. I have solid boundaries. My nose, as long as I do it, say it nicely, that's the trick to it. Okay. And I understand that my judgments of other people are ultimately just judgments about myself, and I use them to understand my shadow self. Okay, so that is the 3x3 health, wealth, relationship. As well as the dimensions of our reality. So imagine like this is a cube that folds up. And then this would be the lid. So this is the physical reality. my being would just be a little being in a house somewhere. In the experiential dimension, I'm looking through my own eyes. Into the world. And these are my controls from the inside out. Breath, speed, posture, letting go of emotional effort, effortless actions on a bed of just relaxed nothingness from which everything comes. And then on top is my symbolic knowledge, my thoughts, down here is my emotional reality, the emotional sea, and I have a submarine, a bubble that protects me, that reminds me if I'm going down, that it just gives me more buoyancy to float back up. And I'm always resting, even if I'm resting in action. I'm doing the things I need to do, which is right here. And I need to watch out for my trauma shields. And then I need to treat myself at the end. And then do emotional strength training. And I will hit emotional landmines, which will bring me into the shadow dungeon realm. And the trick for that is simply not to overreact. Anyways, so that's the emotional realm. The social realm, I don't have a good picture. Oh wait, I do. I have, it's right here. My strategy is just I radiate value like the sun and just deliver positive value. Again, this is my boundaries and my shadow work. I have emotional strength training gym right down here that I'm developing, which includes the box of liberation. I don't talk about harming myself or others, so I'm safe to myself and others, always. I don't say anything that compromises my informational security. And I'm not loud and disruptive in my physical environment. Within here, I have my daily routines down. I sleep, rest, feel, clean, dress. This is the health, wealth, relationships. I sleep well. I have a solid morning routine, evening routine, and if there's work, I can get to work whether I feel good or bad. Then I can trust somebody to go into the emotional gym and duel or do some exercises in case they go into emotional free fall, that they still have this structure to keep themselves safe. And the most important part, you need to understand that you are 100% responsible. We are all 100% responsible for our own emotional reactions, and that we are emotional immortals. That anybody says is simply vibrations in the air. And as long as they haven't physically threatened us, whatever reaction we get inside is ours to process. It is never blaming the other person. We can choose not to play with that person again. There's many things, but we are always 100% responsible. And within these frames, now we can do things like, practice trying to insult somebody, which we never do, which I never do. Or we try to attract them by compliment. And then we can also try receiving insults or compliments. We can role play. We can, running out of space here. We can reveal things about ourselves. We can be known to another. And by that, we can connect. Okay, so these are kind of the exercises. And by the reactions that we feel, we will know where our shadows are. Because there's a box of identity. If that gets attacked, we will feel angry. And when we feel angry, that is how we can know where our identity lies. The shadow identities. Okay, so this is the emotional strength training gym. Emotional strength training gym. And then these are the people in our lives and the communities we are a part of. And these communities are social, business, and causes. All right. And the roof is the strategies. So we are the singular being. And all we ever do is make little changes with our thumbs. And we are the sun at the center. We capture the value that's radiating out on all dimensions. Future me. Systems control all that. And then these are the bigger systems that are even bigger than the dimensions of reality. So these are hyper game strategies. Strategies, roots of reality. Hypergame tools, resets, hyper tools. And what is this? Rules of the game. Okay. And then I have the big emotional counters. Top one is for infinite growth. Your coming and going is nowhere. Your coming and going is nowhere but where you are. Downward is about death. Accept death. Right is about rejection. Rejection is freedom, liberation, moksha. Left is about failure. You fail successfully. Okay. So these bounce the emotional fears back in. So we capture it. We convert time into value we can save. There's only 24 drops per day. So the goal is to maximize free time and invest it. These are the routines. This is the treat. We can add training somewhere along the way. And sometimes we get stuck in the emotional sea. All right, so that is a review. I've added emotional strength training gym with basic requirements of having your life in order, understanding the box of liberation, understanding that you are an emotional immortal and that we're all 100% responsible for our own emotional reactions. We never blame another. And then we can play these exercises. We can try to insult somebody or try to attract them, compliment them, connect with them. We can try to get insulted and see where it lands so that we know where our box of identity is. Or we can try to have somebody compliment us and try to pull our being to see how well we can be pulled around. We can reveal something about ourselves. We can be known by another, or we can build connections. That's the emotional strength training gym. These are dimensions of our reality: physical, symbolic, experiential, emotional, social, and the strategies with which we play the other 5 dimensions. The other things that would go here is I used to put the science of success here, A to B, And the emotional C goes here. Anyways, but really what would go here is the world of information. There's so much information in the world, so many different models. Learning from the world would be here because it's symbolic and it's social. This would be systems. Symbolic and physical. Legal would also go here. A legal entity. Ooh, this would be good. There we go. Legal. Who we are on paper. Okay. Our symbolic resources would go here. Our brain, so it would be biological, brain, analog, and digital. Anyways, these are the three places we store our information. We pull it from the world, and then we teach to the world, and we build a community, maintain our communities. Guess public, maybe it's over here. My cube would go here. I need to make websites, which I want to make a book. Okay. This is for teaching. Oh, this is for social. Interesting. I'm starting to have these videos up on YouTube. I didn't used to do that. I used to freak out over that, but now I don't anymore. I'm just being completely open with absolutely everything. That's my only strategy, with the only limitations being my box of liberation. I don't talk about self-harm, I don't talk about harming others, and I don't give away information of security. Lower left is the 3x3. Health, physical wealth, and money and debts. Mental, emotional, physical, workout and pleasures, fully embodied spirituality, flow channel, okay, and job, career, or business. A to B, being who I'm meant to be. I want to make a lot of money. Financial bodhisattva, win. Superpower. And I need to be able to exchange that for resources. And yep. Okay. I'm only competing with myself. What one player game, that's what that represents. Relationships, communities, and all one, all me, self-defense, community self-defense, boundaries, and shadow work. Okay, so that goes over here. It's physical and it's emotional. This is what our life is made of, and we're going from here to here. Yep, that is the cube. This is the system of enlightened mastery. This is the way of compressing all knowledge into a single point, which is then held in the cube. From the cube, you can branch out into all these different quadrants, and it's all stored in my mind, and I'm able to recreate it without looking at anything else. That's the power of the system. And yep, this is another record so that future people can recreate it should anything happen to me before I am able to present it to the world myself. All right, this is another example. And it's also emotional strength training. So I keep doing this over and over and over again until I simply burn out the story that I have nothing to say. Well, it seems like I have plenty to say, and I love myself. I love the small parts of me who gets caught in my own emotional challenges, in my anxieties. I learned that I'm not broken. I just never had universal, unconditional love. And the moment I do, and when I get it from my divine partner, I feel instantly normal. So, yes. So I commit to shining that love and light to others, to give them, to work on mastering being a source of unconditional love and acceptance for everyone I work with and the whole world. All right, that is all. I love you all. And as always, my definition for love is my definition of love is the desire for that which I love to survive and thrive. So I hope you survive. I hope you thrive. So I love you all. Until next time. Bye bye.